Hello, class. Good day to all of you again. Hopefully, your week went well, and it's always important that you're doing well. As you know, we are closing things up. This is our final week, week number 7, and it has been a pleasure spending all this time with you. I hope you enjoyed it and you appreciate it quite a bit. So, what we're going to be speaking or dealing with this week is communication, which falls in the category of advertising and so forth. So, it's managing communication between retailers or between suppliers and customers. So, the question is what's the importance or what's the value of communication? We're human beings, we're social people. We don't understand what goes on in the head of someone else, so we communicate, we talk, we get ideas over. In the business world, influence is quite important, and communicating information in a way that influences decision is very, very important. What would happen if you leave consumer or any form of customers, any type of customers, alone to make their own decisions? That is known as a high risk approach towards managing business. So we need to be a little bit involved. Okay. So as you notice, any way around you go these days, you will see a lot of advertising. There's advertising on radio in your car. There's advertising on television. There's advertising on, online billboards, the back of receipts on your shoes and your clothes. All over the place, there's advertising. These are known as mass communication. And the whole goal of these communication is sometimes to create awareness of a product or a brand, to build a relationship with a brand, to make it continuously familiar and available, and also to influence, create curiosity to influence shoppers to buy products. So within this system, we are going to be looking at 4 areas. We will look at advertising. What is advertising? We are going to look at sales promotion. What is sales promotion? We will also look at personal selling, public relations, and direct marketing. I mentioned 4, but there's 5, but we are going to be spending more time with 4. Okay. The most usable ones that you guys know happens to be advertising. Advertising is considered to be, by definition, a one-way communication. It's mass by nature, reaching a whole lot of people through certain medias in order to influence their behavior. And so communication focuses much more on what you hear, what you see, in order to extract information out of that, and that information stays with you and I. We process that information over time, we make decisions. Some of that information, because you're not in need of products now, will enter into your long-term memory. It will stay there dormant until you need product. And then there's recall. Recall means you would probably recall, well, I heard information on this product. I was not interested at a point in time. And so then the research may start. And so that's one of the reasons why you would see advertising being as mass as it is, in large quantities, using every available channel that impacts your ears and my eye and your eyes, our ears and our eyes, in order to get their message over. And so that is known as advertising, which is one way. There's not any immediate feedback from that. It's more mass oriented. 2 of your most popular used system these days happens to be television. It is still very active, still being very used, and also online, which is growing quite substantially. And as you know, there are 2 companies that dominates the online advertising, which is Facebook and Google. And you have a lot of television media that is that is probably advertising at the same time. Now, these advertising, they are not without the challenge, and therefore they're part of the marketing strategy. They're communication in nature, but they're connecting to the entire marketing strategy. They are developed independently, separately, but they have to be uniquely connected to the strategy of the company, the entire company business model, its marketing model, its business strategy, its marketing strategy, in order to give it I guess the viability it needs so that the company can obtain the goals that they're going after. So what are some of the things that we're going to look at when we're developing or looking at developing and managing advertising program? It is what is known as the 5 M's. Number 1 M is mission. Every company has a mission. Some company has a documented mission statement. Some companies may not have a documented statement because they're small companies or they're medium-sized companies. But the mission dictates or implies what that company wants to accomplish, how does it want to be perceived, what do they want to be known for, and that has to be part of the, the promotional or the advertising strategy. So the sales goals and also the advertising objectives are coming directly from the marketing strategy program and also from the mission or the mission statement. The next big thing is money, budgeting, not the availability only of money, but the budgeting dollars. Why is that important? Because remember last week we spoke about intermediaries, where there are costs that is added to the product in order to create that time, place, and possession utility, but it does not increase the quality of the product, and therefore we are paying money just for them to sell to us. The same thing with advertising. That advertising budget comes into the product and increases that product, and if it's not managed appropriately, then quite obviously it will not produce the results that they need, which is increasing sales, increasing the awareness of the brand, make things a little bit more successful. So they have to look at the budgeting side, and they have to look, and so some companies may look at it and say, okay, we're going to do 1% of total sales, and so if sales increase, that 1% increases. If sales decrease, that 1% would be a lesser amount, and that's a pretty good budget that they're not overutilizing or underutilizing, but they are right where they need to be, what they may call the sweet spot, in order to bring their message over to them. The other M, which is a very important M now, this is the connecting M to you and I. That's the message. What are we seeing? What are we hearing? What is that message moving into our short-term memory and then disappears? Or is it able to enter short and then move into long-term memory? Find storage so at the right time there's a recall, and we may want to give that product or that brand an opportunity. Okay, so the message is very important. Now, you and I know that this message comes in various forms, because here's the thing: none one of us has purchased a television set or any consumer electronic product just because we want to look at advertising or commercial. Commercials and advertising are, they're hindrances. They are something that doesn't really means much to us, but unfortunately that's what pays the bills for this media company, and they are there. And these advertising has to accomplish certain things that is known as the AIDA model, A-I-D-A. So the first A, or the first letter A, it means attention. As you know, most television advertising that is not infomercial, they're 30 seconds long, and so a lot has to accomplish in this 30 seconds. So this message has to accomplish a lot in 30 seconds, but it cannot accomplish anything if it does not capture our attention. So once it captures attention, the next big question, then what happened after that? So I means interest. A-I-D-A, I means interest. They have to create interest. The message has to have something that now keeps you attended to look at the remainder of this 30 seconds because it's something of interest. Maybe they're making an offer. Maybe they're speaking about a product. Maybe it's an entertaining commercial, something of that sort, but it has to capture our interest. So these are pathways that it has to go through, or else it will not arrive at the end goal of getting us now to, at some point in time, maybe short term, maybe early, maybe late, buy their product. The D means desire. Once it has our attention, create an interest, now it has to build desires. It has to build desires out of curiosity or out of economic value or out of some sense of wanting to try that product, and so the desire must be there. If the desire is light, then obviously the decision to purchase might be low, but if the desire is intensive and strong, the decision to purchase might be very strong. Okay, so A-I-D, and then we come back to A, which is the last of the four, which is action. Action means now that you and I will now engage that business. We are going to go there and we're going to buy their product. We will try their product and so forth. So this advertising from the message perspective, that 30-second spot, or whether it's an info commercial that's 15 minutes long, or whether it is something that you're looking online, it has a framework. And it has a challenge and it has goals, but it has a pathway, and this pathway cannot be ignored or avoided. The other thing is media. What media will they use? Will they use just online? Will they use a combination of online billboards, televisions, radios, and so forth? Now, every segment of that media, yes, brings more availability or awareness of their advertising, but yet there's a cost. And so if, let's say we're dealing with 1% of our total sales, then how are we going to spread this 1%? Should we spend more of that 1% on television? Should we spend more on online and so forth? Now, for some companies, it might be a seasonal thing. As you guys know, we have some occasions where a lot of people do spend a lot of time looking television. That's when you have Olympics. Olympics are on. So a lot of that, more money may go into the seasonality of Olympics, or whether it is the World Cup, or whether it's the soccer game or anything of sorts where you have large groups of people, because as you know, advertising, it's mass and it goes towards a large group of people to impact them, and out of that large group then they were able to select their customers and so forth. So the media selection is very important. And one of the media that you guys see that is growing quite substantially in this present time happens to be the mobile, the M media. That is growing quite a bit because it's highly personalized. Now, the last media, the last M, sorry, it's measurement. It is very, very difficult to measure the effectiveness of advertising. We don't know whether it produces sales or it does not produce sales, whether it brings in one customer, it brings in 50,000 customers. We don't know. What we know is one of those things that is known as a necessary evil. It costs money. We have to do it. If you're not in the game, you can't participate and you may not attract consumer. So we have to be there in order to make sure we are staying in communication with our target audience. So the measurement of success. There are a couple things that you want to see, and that it goes right back now to your mission. What is the goal of the company? What is the objective of this marketing? And if the objective is quantifiable, saying, okay, we're looking to increase sales of this specific brand by 5, 6, 10%. If you attain that goal, then obviously everything combined together, which is your advertising, your inventory management, the acquisitions of products, your marketing strategy, the utilization of your entire package, they have all worked together in order to make things happen. Okay. So the next thing that we have to look at here, and it is what's the objective? What's the objective of your advertising? Okay, there are 4 that we are going to look at. Number 1, information, which is awareness. Not all advertising is designed to create short-term sales. Some are designed just to introduce a product, to create awareness of this product, or to introduce a company. This is a company that's coming into business for the very first time. And so, we have over 400,000 small businesses starts up in this country every year. And some or the other, they have to be able to impact their target audience or to create awareness. Okay, I'm in business today, or we're starting business today. And that's information. Some advertising are short-term in nature. These are your seasonal advertising. Maybe they are for Black Friday, and maybe they're for Christmas, or maybe they're for the summer, or maybe they're for Father's Day. These are known as persuasive advertising. And the goal of persuasive is to get people to make a decision very quickly because there's limitations of time. At a certain point in time, the product really doesn't value much because the sale is over, the occasion is over. And then you have advertising that are reminder. Reminder is to remind you, we have the sales going on, or you can get these products at these places. But it's the reminder in order to create the recall, because our needs and wants are not equally across the consumer group at the same time. It differs. Today I may need furniture. Tomorrow you may need furniture. Today I may need refrigerator. Probably next week you may need a car, and that's where the reminder comes in, because we have this difference in our target audience needs and wants. Timeline to purchase differs across the board, and that's where the reminder comes in, to constantly be there. Now, advertising is one part of that marketing campaign that is highly regulated. The government is involved. Very similar to pricing. There are legal and social issues. So here is some of the things that are general standard, all type of advertising. Advertising should not make any false claims. Now, that's argumentative, that's debatable, because we may say there are these small lines at the bottom that nobody reads, or there are these disqualifying statements and so forth. The law allows that to happen. It's part of the information process, but none of us take time, or very few of us do take time to read the small print. But advertising must not knowingly or purposely make false claim of what a product can do, unknowingly that product cannot do or perform those things. Also, it should not make false claims as to where a product came from. For instance, if you have this bottled water company claiming that their water is coming from a spring, and if there's no spring, that's a false claim. Okay. They must not use false demonstration, meaning to say, claim that this product is able to do that or accomplish certain things, and then it's not able to accomplish certain things. Okay. So any form of deception, any form of purpose deception can be considered illegal, and can be considered also unregulated. The other thing that is also considered to be, and a lot of times you may see this in many types of business, called bait and switch. They may show you one product, that this product's for sale and very massively discounted, and then you walk in there and what you would hear, okay, that last product was just sold, but we have these products here. That's a bait and switch. Now, the law requires also to state how many of those products. For instance, if a car dealer is going to advertise a specific car is on sale, they need to state how many is available. So those are some of the things that are actually required. Now, we have the social factor, right? Because you and I use this advertising as a source of information to make decisions. And if personally they're offensive, then quite obviously we would have distasteful outlook towards that product or towards that company. And you do have, sometimes they're very distasteful commercials out there. They're not benefit to anyone. And so although they may be within the regulatory guidelines, they may not be into the social or community-based guidelines. They're just bad in taste. And so they're not beneficial or helpful. This is supposed to connect to the market. This is supposed to communicate with the marketplace. This is supposed to gain favorability with the marketplace, not to build walls with between the marketplace and the selling organization. The other thing that falls in the category of mass marketing, and this is a little bit more narrow communication as opposed to mass, it's sales promotion. Sales promotion are considered to be short-term incentives because company wants to probably either liquidate inventory or replace old merchandise, or seasonality of certain products are coming to an end. And so therefore they may use a lot of sales promotion because it's best to cut the price a little bit or to reduce the price by certain coupons and move the merchandise as opposed to have to truck it back. You know, you move it with truck and then you move it back with truck, then nothing happens. So what are some of the areas or some of the methodology of sales promotion? Number one, we have coupons. The unfortunate fact of coupons, it is discovered that only 2% of coupons are used. People would take time to download coupons, to print out coupons, and so forth, but many times these coupons are not used. So it's not really a benefit to companies, but it's still there. Anything that is immediate to the sale, it's a benefit. And so a lot of times, if you have something that can be used immediately and it's right at the store or online on your computer or your cell phone, those are quite beneficial. And you have coupons of such. The other thing that is an incentive happens to be sample. You will see a lot of that specifically in the areas of fast foods, whether they are or recreational food, whether it's pizza or something else that you may see. Companies may just offer samplers at their store. You have cash refunds, you have flyer mileage, you have loyalty cards. These are all sales promotion. The third thing that we're going to go into that is a very important component, but sometimes it's a little misunderstood. It's called public relations. Public relations is not concerned that much with the short-term effect of selling, but it's much more concerned with the long-term effect of that business organization. So as public relations, what does public relations mean? Now, you would discover that small companies don't have a public relations department. Probably medium-sized companies with revenue less than $100 million may not have a public relations department. Very large companies do have public relations department because the purpose of public relations is now to communicate with the public, to able to gain a relationship, build favorability with the public. And a lot of publicly traded companies will come out with press release on certain performance in order to educate, inform the company. There can be press release of new products and so forth. So public relations is to build a favorable relationship with its community. So a lot of times you may see them out there. Yes, they may be donating to certain cause. It may be a marathon and people may have their shirts on, which is building the brand of the company or building the brand of a specific product and so forth. So this is building a relationship with the community. A very important performance also or task of public relation is to get involved when negativity occurs. There are times company may be having some real serious negative challenges, and you may see the media highlighting these negativity considerably a lot. And this is where public relations have to come back to able to build back that relationship. Now, I don't know if some of you would remember when Ford had a problem with the some of their vehicles that turned over, and it was Firestone Tire, and Firestone claimed it was Ford. At that point in time, because of the very massive amount of negative publicity and the amount of people, I think there were 30 people who died. I'm not sure on that number, but there were some fatalities. Firestone closed down all their service centers from selling, or they stopped all their service centers for selling Firestone tires until they were able to clear up their issue and regain public confidence. Then they were able to bring back those tires. And the same thing happened with Ford. That model of car, of SUV, was not on the marketplace for a period of time. And so what actually happened, this was very important task for public relations to get back out there, not to make excuses or to defend, but to find the best logical approach towards regaining the confidence of the consumer. So public relations do have their challenges, okay? The other one that we are looking at here is known as personal selling. Personal selling is a form of promotion, and it happens quite a bit when we're dealing with what we discussed earlier as shopping goods. These are areas where you need an in-between person, which is a salesperson. You see them at car dealership. You see them at certain industrial products. What they're doing is telling you about their product being the best on comparative scale to that of the competition, and it's basically a form of promoting their product before the actual decision is made. Now, one growing type of communication happens to be direct marketing. From the supplier, the manufacturer, direct to you and I through many forms, and this comes in direct mail. You and I may get a lot of direct offers to, on our email, and they may be coming from retailers. It may be from your favorite retailer where you buy your clothes. It may be from your grocery stores. It may be from an online. They will send offers directly to your email. This is direct communication to the consumer. And now it's going to come also to your smartphone. We spoke about M media, which is your mobile media. It may come directly there. You do have also companies may set up in specific areas kiosks where it's used in order to provide information to consumers. And very last, websites. Website is a source of information. It's also a source of communication. It's also a source of those things that we mentioned earlier, informing or trying to persuade the customer that these products are on sale, or these are new products, or these are seasonal products that are coming out. Now, in the retail industry, specifically relating to consumer products, a lot of money is spent on advertising and promotion. So the combined mass communication system and consumer products, more money is spent in that area than any other part of a company's marketing segments. Now, acquisition of product, that's not part that they have to have products, but in terms of the marketing, the strategy, the plans, the programs, more money is spent in advertising. So as an example, take a company like Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola spends more money. Take a company like PepsiCo. McDonald's, they spend more money on advertising as opposed to any other part of their marketing plans and programs. So I hope you find this very interesting. I hope you have enjoyed your class. I hope that you have learned a lot. I hope that you have had or do have a great appreciation for marketing management, and probably maybe considering moving your career in that area. Once again, I want to wish you all the best. I certainly appreciate the time you have spent listening to these lectures, and I wish you significant success as you move forward with your education and with your career. Best of luck to all of you.